Hi, I'm Jessie Maley and I play Alina Starkov, and today we are going to be talking about that moment between Alina and the Darkling. So at this point in the series, it's been a bit of a turning point for Alina. She decides that she isn't going to wait around for Mal anymore and that she's going to go on her own and only depend on herself. It's the day of the Winterfête. It's going to be Alina's big moment where she shows off her light to all the dignitaries that have come from all over the world. And this is prior to her getting ready, and she decides that she's going to go and see what Alexander is up to. So Alina is just sneaking in to Kirigan's war room. She's having a look around. Where is he? He's just having a look in the mirror.
Ivan, my kefta.
They've almost had a slightly intimate moment where Alina wasn't really sure about what was going on. So knowing that and having that moment at the end of episode 4 intrigues her, and she kind of wants to go and spend time with him and, you know, see what's going on, really.
You're not Ivan?
Sorry to disappoint.
Do I sense a little disdain for my heartrender? You know, once you get to know him, he's actually quite funny.
I bet you find Volcra hilarious.
They have a little sweet, slightly awkward joke.
May I?
Thank you.
Alina and Kirigan have gone from being complete strangers, where she is just essentially no one and he is the leader of the Second Army, to then becoming friends, to then almost becoming something more. And I think from the moment she meets him, feels incredibly drawn to him. You know, it felt like they really did, that something could really happen between the two of them, and they really do care for each other.
Talking to Jenny, I've realised what this demonstration represents. I've always felt like an outsider, especially when I first got here. But now I finally feel like I belong. And not that I just belong here, but to something greater. That we can offer Grisha and Ravkans hope for the future.
This is a moment for her just to express how she's feeling. But I think the fact that we chose for Alina to deliver it not to him, it was to herself, really. I really liked that because it meant that it was a very sort of personal moment for Alina, but also it meant that then we, as the audience, can then see Kirigan reacting to it.
That means a lot to me, Alina. You mean a lot. To everyone.
You know when you sort of say you like someone and then you don't think they're responding, so, you know, he's like essentially saying, I like you as a friend, you know, because she's looking down. And I think it's a really sweet little moment from Kirigan that shows real vulnerability, even though we don't necessarily see him say it. He's sensing that she has the power in the situation, and I really liked that.
Not many people surprise me, Miss Starkov.
This first kiss scene, we actually filmed second. So the second kiss was the first kiss that we filmed. So, you know, this scene felt very, very easy, very comfortable. And Ben and I would often come up with blocking, you know, our idea of what we wanted the blocking to be beforehand. I like the fact that he's relaxed and sitting back. You know, it's more inviting than if he was standing up and being imposing. As quite an impulsive person myself, my instinct was that Alina was going to kiss Kirigan and then immediately be like, you know, a bit concerned, a bit like, oh wait, have I overstepped the line? And our director Mairzy was like, nah, no. This whole episode is such a turning point, and it's really important that we see that she sticks to this decision. I think it was nice to have the first kiss happen earlier in the episode, because then during the Winterfête, all of the interactions between Alina and Kirigan feel very like that first crush, you know, kind of thing, and meant that she felt really excited and accepted. She feels like she doesn't belong. That's what she says an awful lot. And finally she's standing up on the stage in front of everyone, and she does feel like she's belong, and she's been accepted by the person who essentially means the most in this situation, which is the Doctor and Kieran. So it was really nice to have that dynamic between the two of them, like during the Winter Fate, where they can be a little bit sort of gooey-eyed over each other. So then later on, when things do get a bit more intimate and a bit more heated, we already have established that she wants this, you know, and she's ready, and she's not blushing and, you know, innocent.
Are you sure?
I think it was nice to have a scene where, you know, the consent is explicit. You know, he says, "Are you sure?" And she says, you know, she nods and she says yes. Because consent is a really, really important thing, and that came from the writers, and I think it's a really, really good decision. So thank you for going through that moment with me. Shadow and Bone is now streaming on Netflix.